Hey everybody, I'm Petra with the Rebels Den, and today with me I have Ron, who I've been following for a while, and he does some amazing artwork. So welcome to the Rebels Den interview series.
Oh, thank you for having me.
So with that being said, what do you do?
Well, I paint guitars, but done some other instruments, drums and stuff like that as well, keyboards. But for the most part, it's all custom painted guitar work.
I absolutely, excuse me, absolutely love that because I think it's we're both in the musician's world, have a love for music in some way, form, or fashion. So having those customized guitars, that just speaks so much, right? Like even seeing somebody playing your guitar on stage, I can't even imagine what that feels like.
It's actually it's the craziest thing, when I first started doing it, you get this whole vibe of like, where's it gonna go? Is it gonna work? How's this thing gonna happen? And you don't plan on a business model, so to speak, because like you said, it's something of passion. I just enjoyed doing it, and I just stumbled upon it. But then all of a sudden it becomes a business, and you get to actually see people you admire, talented musicians that are seeking you out to play something that you've created, and the feeling's insane. Whether it's an A-list rock star or even a startup band, just when they get up on that stage, and they have my guitar in their hand, it really is, it's an honor. It really is.
Yeah. I love that you said, because I stumbled into my artwork more or less over the years too. And you said you stumbled on it and a business developed. Talk a little bit more about that.
Absolutely. So I've always, loved to draw. I mean, as a kid, that was my passion. I went to school for art and, college for art. And then I graduated from college and I went to work in advertising. So I did storyboards and things like that for motion picture, as well as, commercials, television commercials, print ads. And then from that, 26 years in advertising, I was a creative director at advertising agencies, working on some pretty good accounts, and got to meet a lot of cool people, and always continue to have a passion for art. But truth be told, as you get into creative direction, as the title says, you direct. So you don't get to actually physically do a lot. So to make the story short, I got transferred down to Florida to work at an agency, and my family hadn't moved yet, and I found myself with a lot of free time. I'm from New York. A lot of free time on my hands, so I started to draw again. And one of the things I just picked up, I said, I wonder how cool it would be, and if I could actually physically paint a guitar.
Mm.
And I wanted to try something a little bit different. Obviously, you've seen guitars in the past. They've got, burst colors on them and things, but I really wanted to illustrate on the guitar, to create something that I thought was art, not just abstract, but full on,
Yeah.
illustration. And, I'll be honest, I messed a couple of them up pretty good. In the
I mean,
beginning.
that's how we get,
But
it takes 10,000 hours to become an expert. So
it's true. It's true, and thankfully, it just progressed. I went to a NAMM show, was my first, foray into the music world, so to speak. At that point, it was just basically, I'd like to think I'm an artist and I painted on an instrument. Okay, great. Just the same way somebody would paint on a car or a van. Yep. Or a motorcycle. It was the same thing, So, not even thinking that there was a need or a niche for any of this, I went to a NAMM show and, started showing my stuff and got a little bit of interest. And, like, I guess the saying, you got to be in it to win it, right? So it just slowly progressed. I met some really cool people. One of them is a guy named Squiggy. He's a very good friend of mine. He runs the Music Experience. And he was the one that basically said, you've got to come to one of these music festivals and let people see what you do. And one led to two, led to three, led to four. I'm in year 3 now, and I'm painting on average 100 guitars a year.
Woo!
So it really, really took off. So I mean, I couldn't be more happier. Happy accident, call it. And it's true. I've always had a passion for music. I'm a fan of this music. So to be able to, to get a text from somebody in a band saying, "Hey, dude, you want to paint my guitar?" And I'm like, "Oh, come on." I mean, that's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
But I love that because I think sometimes, I would burn, and I was like, when I saw you, I'm like, oh, I wonder how cool it would be to wood burn on one of those.
Oh yeah.
Like that's
absolutely
fascinated with that kind of stuff. but it's like I stumbled into that, you know, like it was by
Hmm.
accident that I became a wood burner. It wasn't on purpose.
Yeah. Right.
And I love that it just kind of took off from there and sort of fueled your passion for the arts, and making something relatively unique. I mean, yes, we see musicians with the art on the guitars or whatever,
Right.
but I've checked you out, and some of your stuff is pretty unique. And I know you did one for Blue Ridge Rock Fest
Hmm.
coming up,
I
and I
did.
was just like, oh my god, this is really dope. I mean, because you know, taking the logo or taking just an image and then recreating it on a guitar, that takes some skill.
Hell, a little bit. You like to think. I mean, it's it's an interesting animal because I know a lot of artists. I mean, from my days in advertising, there was a lot of guys who come through the bullpen, so to speak.
Yep.
The creative agencies, and they've got such a unique style. Some of it's quirky. Some of it's just crazy cool, and it really is interpretive to whatever known. And they got to borrow money for lunch.
Yeah.
And it's a crazy thing how some stuff works, how it doesn't. You see these reality shows on TV, the American Idol, America's Got Talent, whatever the hell you want to call them. And it's just a plethora of crazy things. And some people, and now social media, you can hear them comment, I don't like this, I like that.
Oh
But
yeah,
it's
absolutely.
amazing the passion people have for art and talent. Either you hate it or you love it. There's never any in between. I get the same. I mean, I get a lot of people send me, why would you do that to a guitar? Okay. And then you
Absolutely.
get, it's everybody's,
Absolutely.
and of course everybody's got an opinion. You got to love it,
This is very
but
true.
it
And
is,
I'm
you got
sure,
a thick skin,
I don't know what your price range is because I didn't go that far into it. But even for me, like I've used to do festivals and some art. I no longer do that because it's just too much of a hassle in the
Yeah.
scheme of things. But I don't know how many times I've heard it's too pricey, it's too
Yeah.
expensive, or I could do that. Well, go ahead, please take
Do
that
it.
time. Go ahead and
Yeah.
do what you want to do. And I'm sure that your pricing has changed over the years, even though you only said you're 3. I want you to
Hmm.
talk a little bit about that because there, especially in the music industry, I've found people want a lot of stuff for free, and it's not
Right.
just the music industry; it's the artists, right? Well, you're my friends. You should do this for. I'm sorry, no.
Yeah.
Share a little bit of about your experience because part of my interviews, I want to really highlight that any kind of creative thing, it's a business
Yes, it
and
is.
it needs to be supported or it should be supported. If you can't buy it, okay, but don't degrade our work or your work, right? So
Yeah.
what's
Well,
your
it's I like to say too. It's like if that was the case and everybody friends should get stuff for free. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I've done stuff for free. But if that's the case, I'm gonna go make friends with the Ferrari dealer because obviously at that point in time he's
right?
gonna give me the car, right? I mean, so it's like that's a happy trade for me. I've got no problem with that. But yeah, I mean, the starving artist thing is it never appealed to me, but it is a very very true statement. Whereas a lot of times. You call it a talent or any talent-based thing. I mean, I'm sure musicians get it as well. It's like,
Oh,
oh, just
absolutely.
come play at my wedding. Okay, well, that's how I make a living. So I mean, if I'm going to get up and do it, my time is my commodity. So a lot of times, I'll get that. I'll get people like, oh, well, I can do it, and hey, you know what? I'll tell you exactly how I do it. If you want to see the rig I use, the chemicals I use to clear it, send me an email, send me a text. I'd be happy to take you through it. I mean, I'm not hiding anything.
Yeah,
I'd love to
I
see
love
more
that.
people do it. So I mean, I've been asked to speak about it, and there's no secrets. I mean, I'd love to build a community of talent, to hang out with. I think that's great. But when it comes down to the pricings of stuff, you're a business. So I mean, obviously, it's what it comes down to is what the public will tolerate. When I first started off, I was cheaper than I am now. My guitars start 2,000, 2,500 bucks. But with that said, I'll have some bands, case in point at Blue Ridge, that reached out and are like, wow, I love your stuff. And I'm like, listen, guys, I'm a business as well as you. We need promotion. So I'll do it at cost for you if you play the guitar on stage and come hang out at my tent and do meet and greets. And they're going to. So,
That's
we've got a
fantastic.
couple Burdens Within, a great, up and coming band. I'm a fan. They reached out, and I've done 2 guitars for them. They're going to be playing them at the festival.
That is
So
awesome.
I'm totally supportive of that talent as well. I'm in awe of it. So if there's a mutual benefit, as an artist to an artist community, we'd be crazy not to support each other. But that said, you've got to make a living.
Absolutely.
So,
and I
there's
think
a
that's
price
what
on it.
people tend to miss the point on that. They think, oh, we're just crazy good or crazy talented, and we should just hand it out to everything.
Yeah, give it away.
And I no longer charge the prices I used to charge, and I'm going, I'm sorry. I did a wood cover bridge. It's like 6 by 2 feet. I spent 40 hours on that.
Yeah.
Damn right it's going to be $800.
Damn right it is. That's exactly right. And what's funny too is I get, everybody, they'll interview and say, well, you've done so many, which one's your favorite? And the problem I have answering it is like, it's like, if you've created work, right? So every one of them, it's not a chore. I like doing it. I can't wait to come to the studio every day, so I can't put a name on one that was my favorite, because quite frankly, they're all my babies. A little part of me dies when I give one
Absolutely.
away.
Absolutely.
And that's why it's getting to the point now. I mean, you see some of the guitars hanging behind me. One of them I had done, this PRS right here, is it's a pretty cool looking guitar. I did the whole entire design, and it was based off of one of the festivals we did this last year at Shiprocked. So we went to down to Mexico and the Mayan ruins, and there's a whole cool story behind it. So once I started painting it, it wasn't for a festival, it was just for me. But I've got my own private stock that I bring to shows. So I got a lot of people call me and ask, oh my God, how much? And I'm like, you know what? I'm not selling it. And that statement alone, I'm constantly getting requests for it. And it's gotten to the point where at this, there's no amount of money you're going to give me for it. I want it, and I'm going to keep it for myself.
Yeah.
So it's that kind of, being able as an artist to get to that point where you can still hold on to a passion. I'm pretty happy that I'm able to say that.
No, I absolutely love that, because I think it starts with a thought and idea, and it just kind of spirals from there as we learn, right? And it does become the passion, and it no longer feels like work. Right. And it's like, man, I get to get up and do art every day. Are you freaking kidding me? And it's just becomes that really thing. It's not work. Yes, there's marketing and there's all these other pieces that need to happen. However, and I can tell just by talking, you truly have this passion and joy for doing what you do.
I love it. I absolutely love it. And I mean, again, like, the happy accident, I mean, did I make mistakes? Absolutely. But you learn from them. I mean, if you didn't make mistakes, you'd never have an opportunity to be where you're sitting today. And going to the shows, I'm not going to lie to you. I wish I did this when I was 25 years old, but it's a lot of work.
It's never too late. It's never too late, though. That's
exactly right.
It's never too late. Like,
if you want to do it.
I'm a life coach and a business coach. If you want to take that on, let's make it. I don't care how old you are, right?
That's right.
I mean, there's a lot of people. I'm not a Harry Potter person, but I know she didn't start till late in her life, and now look at the kind of work she's doing and the kind of money she's making. So it's like, it's not too late.
Yeah.
So as a creative artist, I almost want to say you're going to have shitty days, and you're going to have some bad days, and you're going to have some, oh God, I don't know if I can get up in the morning kind of a situation.
Yep.
How do you move through them? Because I think that's another common denominator in the art industry, no matter what you do, also entrepreneur-wise, that we're going to have those mental health challenges, and we just don't know, right? Like, I would like for you to share what it is when you have those moments, how you get through them, and then are able to show back up.
Right. And I mean, it's a great question. And I think, with anything, I mean, it's in time you get thick skin. I can remember, when I was younger, starting out, especially in advertising, I mean, it's brutal, and with any talent-based profession, I mean, you're basically, you're wearing it on your sleeve, and you go in there and especially in a the word I'm looking for, like the juxtaposition of power. Yep. When you're sitting in front of somebody and you're saying, hey, this is what I did. Do you like it? And the reaction is no. You've got to regroup, so I think it's the answer to the question is twofold, whereas, not everybody's going to like what you do. And if at the first rejection, if you quit, you've done yourself and probably everybody around you a massive disservice, because you're never going to be happy with what the second prize is. But personally, I mean, I've been really fortunate enough to have where a lot of people that come to me for the guitars and the festival guitars, they're just like, hey, dude, here's our logo. Do what you want. And I do get people that say, I want a picture of this, so I'll compose it. But for the most part, it's do what you want. Everybody's like, oh my God, how cool. Well, however, that's also very challenging, because every time I sit down, I've got to come up with what it looks like, as opposed to any direction from you.
Yep.
So I mean, it gets to the point where, if you've seen the work, I do a lot of skulls. I'm getting pretty good at skulls, so how many different times can you do them? How many different compositions? How many different ways can you go? And I mean, there's many times where I'll completely get the guitar done, look at it and say, I absolutely hate it, strip it down and start over. And that's happened like 2 days before a show. I'm like, I am not going to go to a show and display this thing and ask somebody to buy it if I can't stand looking at it.
Yeah.
It's one of those perks. And I guess creating it on your own, you have that opportunity where I've done work for people where it's like, I don't like it, but you're the one that hired me to do it. You've paid for it, it's yours. But that goes back to art is in the eye of the beholder. But it's you got to walk away at some point, and again, I've had many times where I've been well down the road for a design, and I mean, I've got this strange personality quirk where I can't plan anything. I'm a really bad planner. I'm even worse at counting, but that's a whole other story. But I think that's the creative mind, right? I mean, that's how it works.
Absolutely.
Numbers freak me out. They totally freak me out. Spreadsheets freak me out. So, to plan, like to sit down and say, well, do you draw it first and then put it on the guitar? I can't because I would completely lose interest. I'm going to draw it once, and a lot of the guitars might look similar, but, to the trained eye, you'll see that there's many differences in it. There's no stencils, there's no masks. I just can't do it. So when I start doing a guitar, I'll start with, whether it's the logo, or maybe if there's skulls, the skull, and then I'll build around it. Well, I might love the way the bottom third looks, and the top part I can't stand because it's spontaneous.
Mm-hmm.
I'll strip it all over and start again. You have to be able and willing to start again. If you're putting something out there like that and you're going to compromise, then, how do you look somebody in the face and say, come on, you want this, right? I don't even want it.
Yeah. No, that's
I can't do.
That's a really powerful point. It's about integrity, right? And we have to be, do that with ourselves first before we can give it to somebody else. And if we're not feeling that, then it's just not going to work.
So if you ask me which one's my favorite, everyone's my favorite. If you get one of my guitars, that guitar is my favorite.
Yeah, absolutely. So have you ever, my thought is that you've never duplicated, but I'm wondering, have you ever had to do a design twice or 3 times or 4 times?
Well, yeah. And I mean, the shows we do, one of the things that we do that's pretty cool is, I've coined the official festival guitar, so to speak. So what we'll do is if it's we have a raffle, and that's, going back to the price thing, not everybody walks around a festival with $2,500 in their pocket. Thankfully, I guess, right? So what I wanted to do is, instead of like being, elitist kind of guy and saying, well, here it is, it's $2,000. If you can't afford to go away. We've created a raffle, and we work with local charities. So the raffle pays for my way and, my staff to be there, as well as be able to give money for a charity. And every night of the shows, we raffle off a guitar. So if it's a 3-day show, there's 3 guitars. So I try to keep a similar look and feel. Mm-hmm. This way, it's always like, oh my God, I want that one. Well, they're all kind of similar, but again, I don't use masks or anything like that. It's all done freehand. So I know at least there's no boredom where it's like, I don't have the stencil and I'm spraying the stencil. I physically have to hand paint it every single time, so there's some, like, you'll see the Blue Ridge guitars, they look a lot alike. But if you hold them side by side, you'll definitely see the similarities. They're all one of one, is what I like to say.
I love that. All right, so Blue Ridge Rock Fest is coming up September 7th and 8th. So if anybody's going, you can check out that amazing guitar. Like I've seen it, I'm going, oh my God. So people want to find you on the internet, social media. Where can they go and do that?
They can go to Its Ronz World, because apparently somebody has Ronz World. I couldn't buy it. So it's ITSRONZWORLD. and that's on Instagram and Twitter. Ronz World Guitars on Facebook. www.itsronzworld.com is the website. You know, we've got a bunch of cool stuff, and like I said, Blue Ridge Rock Fest, I'm really excited to do this. You know, it's been on my radar for a little bit of time now, and to be able to come in and, you know, talk with the promoters and everybody is just badass. I'm really psyched. I know a lot of the bands that are going to be there. So, you know, whoever's going, stop by. We've got a ton of meet and greets. You know, some of the artists are coming by to hang with us. You'll see some of the guitarists and stuff I've done for them. So it'll be a lot of fun. So
yeah, I'm looking forward to it because I'll be there.
Yeah, it's going to be cool. It's going to be cool. I'm really excited for it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Oh, well, thank you for having me. It's been a great time.